I completed the Suffolk County Marathon yesterday, and look at the fun thing that this medal can do. This was the first marathon that I ran in the Saucony Endorphin Elite, so check out the video to see how it went for me and if I was able to hit my goal time for the marathon.
About 4.5 miles in, still looking good pace-wise. Have the 140 half marathon pacing group right in front of me, so I'm trying to keep them right there. Coming up to the bridge soon. So running on the Robert Moses Causeway, about to get to the scenic part of this route. Be crossing over the bridge down to the beach where the half marathoners will turn around, and then I have the pain cave of several more miles on the beach. So far feeling pretty good, staying right on goal pace. Let's give you a little bit of the view. Unfortunately, it's slipping away now. Just past 8 miles in, my average pace is falling back to 7:41. So I'll see if I get a second wind here and can turn it up again. But my heart rate average is a little bit too high to sustain that goal pace at this time. Going up the bridge, the uphill there kind of screwed up my flow. Slowed down going up, got a little speed boost going down. But it's pretty windy on the bridge as well, blowing you kind of from side to side. We'll see what the wind is like when I get to the beach. So I'm gonna keep giving it my best effort, but I don't think 320 is happening today. Now the long dark of Moria. Got this extended stretch here along the beach before we get back over the bridge and head for home. So here we go, gotta keep it going. It's definitely windier on this side of the bridge. Getting a little break here with this bushes. We'll see. Yeah, this is basically a wind tunnel now. Just made the turn at mile 15. Pace has drifted up to over 8 minutes now. I'm trying to hold this, see if I can get under 3:30. Would still be a personal best. The wind was really blowing in my face the whole way here, so hopefully I'll get it at my back a little bit on the way back. Getting close to mile 20 now. Unfortunately, instead of having a wind at my back, the wind just stopped, so it helped impede progress on the way out, but not getting the benefit of a tailwind on the way back. But at least it didn't change directions and still blowing in my face. My steps are feeling heavy now. I feel my 230 pounds at the moment. Average pace has crept up to 8 minutes, so it's gonna be hard to finish in under 320 or 330. We'll see what I got in that last 10K. Getting back to the bridge, the wind is back. Nothing quite as great as mile 23. running up a bridge with like 23-mile-an-hour wind in your face. I am not gonna close with my goal time today. Let's just get there. I need this downhill so bad right now. That was absolutely brutal. It's like running through a hurricane over the bridge uphill. That took like all of the energy out of me. So I'm just coasting to the end on fumes now. The wind was blowing in my face and sideways. So it's like trying to blow you off the bridge and backwards at the same time. Slowed down my pace to like 10-minute, 30-second on that mile. I lost like over 2 minutes because of the wind. So just gonna coast to the end here and call it a day. Apparently I'm cursed with marathons and extreme weather. If I sign up for a marathon, don't run it. New York City last year, 76 degrees, 84% humidity. This year it's nice and cool, but I'm just dealing with 30-mile-an-hour winds in my face the whole back way. So I'm in the last mile now. Gonna go home and lick my wounds and hope one day I'll run a marathon without extreme weather. Thank you. Thank you, I'll just take it. Thanks.
So my official time was 3 hours, 41 minutes, and 35 seconds. So I failed to make my A goal of 320 or my B goal of under 330. It is what it is. So something that's probably pretty unique to me is I've run 3 marathons now, and my personal best is the only one that I wasn't trying. So I've just been sabotaged by the weather. I started running towards the end of 2019 and really upped my miles in 2020. And I ran my first marathon in 2021, and it was basically a virtual marathon so that I could qualify to run New York City in 2022. So I know that I can run 8-minute pace as an easy pace for me. So I was like, all right, I'll set my sights on 3:30, but I don't really care where I finish because I just need to run a marathon, during the week so that I can qualify to try for real in 2022. So I ended up running a 3:34 when I was just running around my neighborhood basically and just trying to do an easy pace and get through it. So that to this day remains my personal best, which is kind of annoying because in 2022, I did a really good training plan. I was ready for the New York City Marathon, and the weather was just so hot. I couldn't keep my heart rate down. I wasn't able to perform on that day. So I was in great shape, but just couldn't do it. So I ended up doing 3:52 something in New York, walking like 18 minutes, which is still to this day the only time I've ever walked in any distance race. But it was just so hot out there that day, I just couldn't do it. I didn't have as good of a training block this time for this marathon as I did for New York City. I felt like I was had better fitness at that time than I did this time, but I still thought a 3:20 was in the cards if I ran it right. And for the first 5 miles, I was right where I wanted to be, but then it was just that wind took over and just kind of took the wind out of my sails, pun intended. So let's take a look at my mile splits. So it was a little bit hard to get off the line, it was a little bit crowded there. This wasn't divided by paces at the beginning of the start, so had a 7:40 there, but then kind of settled into that. I wanted to be around 7:30, under 7:37 pace, because that was my goal pace for the race. So I had a couple miles there up through mile 5 where I was kind of right where I wanted to be. Then you can see the elevation starts to go up there a little bit. That's where I was running up the bridge. But also that's when the wind started to pick up, so that slowed me down a little bit. Then when I got to the other side of that, I was able to hang out in like kind of the high 7s, and I'm like, all right, let me try and keep these remaining miles under 8-minute pace. I have a little bit of a lead there where hopefully I can stay under 3:30 and finish with at least that as a goal, to have a new personal best. But that didn't happen. On the backside there, the wind was really bad. The heart rate measurements I was getting from my Garmin were off during this race. At one point, it said my heart rate was 200 beats per second, which is, or per second, that would be crazy. 200 beats per minute, which is, more than zone 5. Like, I would be completely out of breath and falling on the ground, and I was breathing just fine. So my heart rate measurements were weird during this race for some reason. But then on the back end, I just started ticking up, into the 8s. And when I got back on the bridge, the wind really picked up. It was the worst it was the whole time, and it was just hard to even continue forward progress. I was putting one foot in front of the other, but that's when I got my pace up to 10:30 at the end there at mile 24, and then I was just so sapped from that effort, I wasn't able to go fast again at the end, so I just kind of hung out in that really slow pace for me to close out the race. I also want to talk a little bit about the shoe that I chose to wear for the race. I went with the Saucony Endorphin Elite. This shoe did everything I wanted it to do. It just can't overcome wind. I can't put that on the shoe. So the upper really comfortable, no hot spots, no blisters, no rubbing, no issues with the shoe at all. The outsole now, you can see I do have some wear on the heel area. Saucony gave full rubber coverage to the front of this shoe, but only one side in the back. So I do actually have some wear now on the exposed foam on the opposite side. I would like them from a durability standpoint to have put rubber on both sides to maybe make this last a little bit longer, but it didn't affect me. It didn't feel different during the race. But again, this is one that I'm probably going to keep just for A races because I'm concerned about that long-term durability. One thing that running can definitely do is teach you some life lessons. This was another example of where you can plan really well for something and things don't necessarily go your way. And there's really no point in being upset about it. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. I can't change the weather. So you show up on race day prepared, you do the best you can do, and if things don't go your way, you try again next time. So I'll just keep at it, and I know I'll get that marathon personal best one day in an actual race instead of running through my neighborhood when it doesn't matter at all. So that's all I have for today. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review.